Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Digital Shop Talk webinar. My name is Tom Dorsey, and I'm joined today by a great special guest panelist, Chris Maggard, and we're going to be talking about follow-up to the Digital Shop Talk radio yesterday and how to implement some of those great tips that Matt Fowler gave us. So before we get started, if I can just get a quick raise of hands to make sure that everybody can hear me. You can do that just by, yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you very much. And let me get into present mode. And what we'll be doing is I'm going to hand off screen share to Chris as she takes us through the back end and how to implement how to set up inspections, how to find your inspection sheets in a library, add them to your kind of default inspection set, how to make some modifications on there, such as colors and personalization. And then also we're going to talk about how to prioritize work, how to prioritize your inspection sheets by statuses. So if you want to show the good stuff first or the bad stuff first, if you want to add in the work order information as well, you can do that. So a lot of people like to attach the diagnostic stuff that they run, and we'll show you how to do that as well. And of course, answer any questions that you have. So feel free to chat them in, use that Q&A button, and we will take care of you. So without further ado, I'd like to hand this off to Chris, and excuse us while we switch screen sharing. Screen might go blank for a second, but we'll be right back.
All right, thank you so much, Tom. So like he mentioned, my name is Chris Maggard. I am a product advisor and trainer here at AutoVitals, and so we're going to go into just a live environment and walk you through a couple things that you can do with inspection sheets, also how you can send your work order to kind of document customer concern in addition to showing the findings through that inspection sheet, and how you can prioritize work for your technicians via the tech view. So first thing we're going to do is work on the inspection sheets. For those of you that are not familiar with how you can access your inspection sheets, what we've done is we have what I call it your quick links menu. Some of us call it the hamburger menu. You're going to click on the three bars up top. We're going to go to our inspection settings, hover over this arrow, and access inspection sheets. This is the area where you're going to control all of your settings. You can create new inspections, edit inspection sheets, or also grab some inspection sheets from the library that you might want to utilize for your shop. So where we're going to start is how you can access shared inspections from other shops. On this page here, top left-hand corner, where I have highlighted in blue, you're going to click on this link, which is going to open up a library of all shared inspections from other shops. So one thing that would be helpful for other colleagues that we take care of here at AutoVitals is if you have a great inspection sheet that you like, please make sure you share it, and I'll show you how you can do that as well. Right now, what you'll see here is when you click on the library, you open up your links where we have different inspections stored within these categories. Keep in mind, explore them all. Sometimes things get a little mixed up in here, so don't be shy to look through different areas. Matt was nice enough to share his inspection sheet that he presented, where we have Jamie having a lot of success with that. Where you can find his inspection sheet and or, like I said, other inspection sheets that might be useful for your shop is coming through when you're going to click on these plus signs. When you click on the plus signs, you have, a good variety of different inspections that you guys can utilize and or download into your library for future use, or to edit those and use some areas of that. So for example, if you had watched the the radio show yesterday, what you're going to see is Matt had shared his inspection sheet that he has a lot of success with. Where you can find that is simply coming in here, and you have the airport automotive inspection sheet directly in here. Now, if you're ever looking for a specific inspection, you can also use the Control F on your keyboard, which is a find function. Type in, what inspection you're looking for, and it will highlight, the different keywords that you had in here, so you can easily identify and find things that you're looking for specifically in that section. Now, once you select the inspection sheet that you want to utilize, what it's going to do is it's going to take that inspection sheet and it's going to add it in here for you as you see it added here. Once you see the inspection sheet come in here, you're going to hit OK. What that's going to do is it's now going to carry over that inspection sheet that you've taken from AutoVitals library, and it's going to add it in here for you. One thing that's extremely important is when you borrow an inspection sheet per se, what you want to make sure you do is copy that inspection sheet by hitting copy here and give it a name for your shop. The name of the inspection sheets are shared on each inspection sheet that goes to your motorist. Make sure it represents your shop and we're not displaying another shop's inspection sheet name. In addition, if you want to make any edits to the inspection sheet, it has to be in a copy mode, which is live, not read only. Okay, so when you copy it and you rename it, it's going to allow you to make changes. So we're just going to simply just name it as a sample here today. Once we do that, it's going to come through, and as you notice, we now have pencils and we can edit the inspection sheet. And again, if any of you guys have any questions during this process, if you feel I'm going too fast, please chat that in, and Tom will answer any questions that you guys may have, or I could slow down a little bit. Now, the other area we wanted to reference and talk about is Matt talked about how you can set your statuses to display how you want your inspection sheet to look like. So for example, what you can do here is you can set your statuses, which will display exactly how you want the layout of your inspection to look like for your motorist. So for example, I highly recommend that we show them the value in their vehicle first before we show them some concerns we have to make sure that they understand it's worth fixing. So for example, here you have the statuses, which is inspected and passed, requires future attention, state inspection recommendation, or requires immediate attention. So what this is doing is every inspection sheet that arrives to your motorist will line out your statuses in this exact order. Again, you have the ability of editing these statuses on how you want it to display, and I'm going to show you how you can do that right now as well. But again, my recommendation is always build the value before we show the concerns. Now, the way that you edit your statuses is you're simply going to come through and click on the pencil here. And once you click on this pencil and it opens up your statuses, couple things is number one is if you haven't created a status yet, please make sure you create them and give them a name. The next thing you're going to choose is right here is your positioning. This is going to tell us where we position that status to display for your motorist. You're going to select.
Hey, Chris?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. And when you give it that name, that's how it's going to show up for the motorist copy as well, right?
Absolutely. So you want to make sure that you guys are very specific and you're speaking to the layman, the person that doesn't understand what we're conveying. So please have a crystal clear message that represents the status that you want the customer to understand.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, and so I could actually create, and I can create more statuses. Like if I wanted to have a status called diagnostics, I could create one.
Absolutely. There's no limit here. So you want to make sure that you are, again, you're creating an impact and the customer that is receiving this information understands what you want to tell them. So make sure that it's very crystal clear and add in any status that you need that is applicable for your shop to convey that message to your motorist. Very
cool. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, when you're in here, like we talked about giving it a position, is you're going to choose whether you want it to go before and after, and then here's the statuses that are already predefined in there or that you've created. So for example, if I want inspect and pass to be displayed last, I'm going to select after immediate attention. And what's going to happen there is once I do that, it will, once it's done updating, it will change. And as you can see here, now the very first thing I'm going to display to my motorist is the future attention needs. And the last thing they're going to see is the items that have inspected and passed. Now, the other thing you can do in here is you can, you can design outside of just your wording what colors you want to use to represent that status and or symbols. So for example, here, in order to choose the color that you want to reflect future attention, you're going to click on this pencil, or I don't know what this is here. We'll just call it a pencil.
Eyedropper.
Thank you. That's kind of what I was thinking. But nonetheless, is you have a color picker here, and you can really choose any color that you want that's going to represent your shop for that status. So for example, if I want to make this blue, I can click on blue and it's going to change that. In addition, is you can choose your images, right? Here's some kind of emojis, or whatever you want to call them. You can choose your status. Right now, they have this informational mark because it's something due in the future. However, if you wanted to give it, a kind of a face, we could click here and it will change that for you. And then the last thing you can do in here when we're editing our statuses is you have the ability to choose a defaulted status, which I would recommend be good. You can say it's a good status. You can describe, that it's immediate recommendations. You can hide a status from a customer report, or you can tell us to make this action a status for recommendations for a next visit. So now that we've changed our color, we've changed our little emoji here. When I hit OK, it's going to refresh and change. We now have a new emoji. We now have a new color of our status. So that is how you can set priority of your status. You can edit the wording, the position, the colors that we're going to utilize, and or the symbol. Anything you want to add on to that, Tom?
No, that was great. I mean, I think we covered pretty much, how to add a new status so you can have more than just kind of the standard 3. How to customize them and personalize them, and how to change the order on those. Is there any questions on what we just went over? Everybody saw how to access it in the library, how to use those categories, and how to use Quick Find to find what you're looking for. And then remember that you're going to add them to your library, but then you have to personalize them. You have to make a copy of it and name it. Chris, Terry Scaffidi's asking, is there a possibility that you might be updating the copy-paste function to allow the mapping to follow as well? When we place a topic to the clipboard to use on another inspection, the mapping is not part of the copy function, and that we will have to remap all the conditions to the actions. So I'm sure that's like an UVA, but you might know if we've got that in Sprint.
It's not currently available. I believe there's a discussion on Facebook regarding that, Terry, regarding UVA, but that would be something I would circle back to UVA with. Right now, the reason why it doesn't work that way is we got it, there's a lot of changes that could happen. Point of sale system could change, which means your CAN job codes change and so forth. So it's more for consistency and accuracy. However, I do understand it could be a convenience tool for you. I would definitely follow up with UVA on that conversation. I believe you initiated it on Facebook.
Yeah, she said last week. So maybe, Chris, if we want to point some folks to that so that we can get that conversation, a little bit more robust and move that into a solutions conversation so that we can see if we can get that into a sprint or somebody take some action on that.
Right. And for those of you that are curious what Terry is referencing, so number one is you can take one of these topics and you can drag and drop it over here into your clipboard. Okay, and when you do so, you have the ability of taking that specific topic and jumping it through a different section on that existing inspection sheet, and basically come down here and paste it so it goes in here. Or what Terry's referencing is taking a topic, applying it to the clipboard, and maybe coming to another inspection sheet that you have in your library and pasting that into this area or a brand new inspection sheet. Okay. Yeah. Now, what happens is, and if you haven't done this yet, I highly recommend it. You can configure CAN jobs into your inspection sheet. Now, she's wanting those CAN jobs to transfer basically from one inspection sheet to the other, if I understand it correctly. So when you're inside of your specific topic and you're clicking, let's say, on your pencil to do your edit, On your action side over here, you have the ability of clicking on this plus job sign. And let's say for air filter, and we are in a test shop. I don't know if this is going to work. Yeah, there we go. So when you do a specific search for a canned job, you can come in here, highlight that, hit OK, and now that is how you configure a canned job into your actions field. And that's what Terry's asking, if we can transfer that from one inspection sheet to the other. So Terry, if you wouldn't mind, could you type in what the header of your feature request was? Here we go. It's right here, guys. So on Facebook, if you were to come into the Facebook forum and kind of like you've seen me do, go into your search bar here, type in Terry, T-E-R-I, and search it. The very first post you see from her right here, excuse me, the second one, it shifted on me a little bit. Nope, take it back, the first one, which is creating inspections or updating inspection sheets. We often use topics. This right here, if you feel like this would be a benefit ad for your shop, please read this and collaborate. All of our features requests that we place on here are generally based on collaboration and making sure that it's a benefit ad for not just Terry, but for all shops. So again, if you feel this would be beneficial for your shop, please collaborate and add your comments in here. So Uva can take a look at that and identify if this is something that would be a feature we can implement for you.
Yeah, and yeah, let's support Terry and her quest, because it's going to help everybody. And the more that people come in and say, hey, that's going to work for me, the more likely, you know, it puts it to the front burner. Also, Chris, Terry wanted to give a little clarification. What she was talking about is mapping a specific condition to an action. So having the conditions and action mapping follow over as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you for that. And what she's referencing, I believe, as well, is one of the things you can do when you're inside of the inspection sheets is you have the ability to have conditions automatically select actions. For those of you that don't know about this yet, this is a brand new feature that we just enabled in March. And what you do is, and it's really beneficial, number one, is it's less clicks for your technician, which is a time saver at the end of the day, but also it's consistency, making sure that it's consistent for not just, you know, customer A, but customer B and C as well. And one of the number one oversights we see technicians do is forget to mark what to do to fix the concern. So the action, right? They say what's wrong, but we sometimes forget to mark what to do to correct the concern. So if you highlight the condition, you click on your pencil, what you have in here is the ability in this area right here where it says action to select an action here. And what this will do is anytime your technician marks that transmission fluid is low, it will automatically pull in a recommendation for fluid flush. So that is, and thank you for the clarification. That's what I believe Terry is looking for there. We're going to move on really quick unless is there any other questions pertaining to that, Tom?
Yeah, hold on one second. So Terry's saying you're welcome to bring up their default inspection. If you want to see a robust one, we have 85% of their items are mapped. Saves tech time and consistency also. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Terry, that would be great. I think we don't have time for that today, but I do appreciate the offer. If you have shared your inspection sheet.
Actually, I was just going to say, actually, if we might want to have Terry come on the radio show, and then we'll just do a topic on mapping, because we can go a lot deeper into that, and and how it applies to different processes and profit centers inside the shop also.
Absolutely. I mean, it's extremely beneficial, and like she said, it's a huge time saver. It's consistency for your motorist, which is always beneficial. So that would be something great, Terry. I hope you take him up on that. We would be great to have you next Wednesday. Now, one of the last things before we move on real quick is I wanted to mention, for those of you that are not aware, you can also save a specific inspection sheet as a default. So for example, if you find something in the library that you want to utilize and you want that to become your defaulted inspection sheet, you're going to come here and you can check the box, which will make this your new default inspection sheet. Now, the other area we wanted to focus on was two things, which is one is how you can send a copy of your worksheet that documents the initial concern with information for your customer in addition to the inspection sheet together. So we're going to take a moment to show you how to do that. When you're looking at whether you're on TechView or you're in your work in progress view, you're going to click on your digital work order here where the magnifying glass is. In order to send a copy of your work order, what you need to make sure you happen, and just imagine for a moment we got a work order here. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your work order box is checked. Your inspection sheet box is also checked. And once you do that, that will send both your work order in addition to your inspection sheet to your motorist. So again, if you want to show a copy of your work order, you're going to click on the box here. Make sure your inspection sheet is sent here, and then by default, both of those will go, and your work order will display first up top. If we take a look here, and this is not a good example, give me one moment here. Here we go. We'll use this one, guys. We have a work order here. So, for example, I have my box checked here, my inspection checked here. If I'm going to hit my view button, this is going to show you again exactly what your motorist is going to receive. What you see right here is diagnose and test. This is going to be your work order. It's going to suppress parts and labor. We're only going to give description and notes, okay? So what you're going to see here is the labor line, your notes, any photos you have here, okay? And then following that would be your inspection sheet again, that's listed based on your statuses that you arrange. And then lastly, what we're going to show you, which is really important, is we talk about making sure that your technicians are most effective and how you can dispatch priority for your technicians via the TechView. Now, the way that you do that is, keep in mind, is the goal is to have the technician stay at their vehicle and the rider stay at the counter, right? No back and forth, so we can maximize and not leave revenue on the table. Your technicians should always work from left to right on their tablet. The way that you, as a service writer, for example, would set priority on the today's vehicle page through TechView is top to bottom. So the vehicle up top is always the very first vehicle that's displayed on the left-hand side going down. So for those of you, if you were not sure how you set priority for your technicians so they are not asking you what vehicle they work on next and so forth, your job is to prioritize their day by putting your vehicles from top to bottom. If you're not sure how to do that, you're going to drag and drop your tiles. So for example, for John, if this vehicle is going to be the vehicle that is the least priority, I'm going to use my snap tile and jump it straight to the bottom so I don't have to drag and drop. Now, if we did the reverse and this is the vehicle that's going to be the priority, we're going to use the snap tile to bring it to the top. However, if in fact, let's say we want this vehicle to be the second vehicle on line, we're going to drag and drop. We're going to highlight the tile to where you see the 4 arrows on the mouse. I'm going to drag and drop it to my priority level, and now it's going to prioritize that and reflect that priority for my technician on the tablet. Any questions?
Nope, looks pretty straightforward.
All right, I'm going to let you take it away, Tom.
Oh, awesome.
I'm going to stop sharing, and it's going to be all you.
Okay. I think I can do that.
All right.
Maybe. Let me see how I find my buttons. Aha. Whoop. There we go. Okay, great. So thanks a lot, Chris. I hope that was beneficial for everybody who's looking for some of those pro tips that Matt shared with us in Digital Shop Talk Radio. Hey, no pressure, Chris. I just want to let you know that Matt was in. Listen and make sure that you didn't misrepresent him at all.
Oh, I hope I did it right.
He was going to jump in, couldn't get his mic to work, but now you killed it. That was great. And join us next week. We're going to have Chris back, and we're going to be talking about another great piece of information that Matt brought to the radio show yesterday, and that was, making sure that we're throttling our marketing to meet our objective as far as the digital inspections go. And talk specifically also about, hey, if we're in that ramp up phase, if we're just getting into adoption, be careful not to put too much, work on too fast, because then you could get your staff to abandon the inspection program. So we're going to be talking about how to do that effectively, how to throttle your marketing effectively, and tailor your marketing. Instead of kind of throwing it all against the wall and see what sticks, how to take a laser scalpel to your attainable market through using our campaign manager and the CRM functionality, your service and repair reminders, and how to get those inspection results into those reminders and some of that marketing stuff that SmartFlow X brings you. So tune in next week. That's going to be Wednesday for the Digital Shop Talk Radio. Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, on Thursday, we'll have this webinar, and we'll be talking about all the implementation, how to actually set it up and implement and execute everything we learn in the Digital Shop Talk Radio on Wednesday. So, again, thanks again for everybody's time coming in. I hope you learned something. Hope it helps you to get out there and give better customer service and make more sales. And we look forward to hearing how it's working out for you on Facebook. We'd love to hear your feedback. Also, if there's any topics that you want us to cover in the radio show or in the webinars, go ahead and post those up in the Facebook forum also, and we'll be happy to get those on there for you, and maybe you can come on the air and tell us how to do it. Until then, thanks again, and have a great day. Go make some money. Hey, thanks a lot, Chris. You were awesome.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.